Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Susan Manias, and I got diagnosed with MS 12 years ago, and I no longer have MS anymore, or symptoms of MS any longer. So I wanted to make these videos moving forward to tell the progression through my life, what I saw before the diagnosis, at the time of diagnosis, and then what had happened in the time of diagnosis, how I reversed it, and now where I am now. And right now I'm 52 years old. They didn't think I lived past 50. So I'm living on borrowed time, I feel like, and it's been fantastic. So I have no more symptoms. I feel great. So I want to share with you today this one thing, which I talked about in my last video, which was the gut. And I knew from the beginning all health started from the gut. Most people know that or have heard of it, but they don't know what it actually means. So the gut is very complex. So it's not easy. It's not about taking a probiotic or taking one supplement. It's so much more complex and difficult than that. But so many people suffer from leaky gut today. And that happens because the food we're eating has glyphosate, and I've done videos on glyphosate. You could look for those or look up Stephanie Seneff, Dr. Stephanie Seneff. She's a PhD. She did all the research on glyphosate, and it's intriguing. So I always give credit where credit's due. I'm not an expert on glyphosate or on the gut, but I knew that my diagnosis started in my 20s. I was diagnosed at 39 years old with MS. And it started in my 20s when I had acid reflux, or GERD as they call it. So I had terrible acid reflux and didn't recognize that that was an issue or a problem. It just was a diagnosis, right, in the medical world. So they wanted to do an endoscopy, and they wanted me to take all these medications. And I'll tell you that today, most of those medications that I was prescribed in my 20s and 30s are now have lawsuits against them because they cause cancer or more serious problems in the body. So thankfully, I'm so thankful I grew up in a natural household where we didn't take medication. So I grew up that way. So a lot of times I take that for granted. People didn't grow up like I did. So I'm very thankful for my upbringing and that we were taught not to take medication and to look for the natural solutions. So this week I have seen many patients in the past week, and a lot that came to me all is undiagnosed autoimmunity. So autoimmunity starts with cellular inflammation, cellular damage. That goes to tissue inflammation, tissue damage. That's usually when pain starts. So it'll be in the joints or in acid reflux or wherever it is, but it starts to be painful for some reason. So then you get organ inflammation, organ damage, antibodies start to form. So it's like a progression over time. It doesn't happen instantly. Unfortunately, today, it is happening at a very young age, and I'll explain it in another video. It's just too long to explain today. So today, I just wanted to talk about the gut and things that I do to combat the gut and help it heal. The body is amazing, and people are losing sight of that today. Our bodies are amazing, and they will heal. And I talked to somebody yesterday with terrible gallstones, and I described it as like sludge coming out of their liver. But the body's amazing, and if they do the things I'm prescribing or saying they do, I don't prescribe anything, but just make a recommendation of what they can do. They have to turn that sludge into more like the consistency of water, so that everything can flow through the body the way it was designed and the way it was created. So we were created for all systems to work. Now the modern world is stopping them from working. So what I do when patients come in and there's definitely a gut issue, I always definitely give them a food test. So many of my colleagues don't agree with food testing. I happen to agree with this one. And I know what causes the food sensitivities. It's because the gut microbiome is not well. But that to me is like obvious. But the thing for me when I had autoimmunity is that I had to stop the immune system from reacting to foods I was eating. So the way I did that was by taking this food test. So this food test tests your immune system. 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. So number one, we'll see if the immune system is even working. I get many patients, the immune system is not working and everything comes back at 0. That means the immune system is not working. That is not good. That's how cancer starts. If your immune system can't recognize a cancer cell passing through and it can't recognize it, flag it, tag it, and kill it like it's supposed to and was designed to, you're in trouble. That's where a cancer diagnosis starts. So many people, I say, it's just a theory on my part, is that autoimmunity is the start of cancer diagnosis. So I've thought that for years, and now I find people in their 60s, 70s getting treatments for cancer that's actually doing what this food test does. It's finding out what's causing the immune system to react and stopping it from reacting. So it's just amazing to me that people tend to ignore these symptoms and these signs that the body's giving them, and they just move past it. So they don't eat the foods anymore, or they do something else. But you really have to know what is causing your immune system to react, because that's going to rip a hole in your gut. And that's where leaky gut comes from. And everybody says, oh, I have leaky gut. No big deal. Oh, it's a very big deal. Very big deal. Like, that is not even something to joke about. If you have leaky gut, or you think you have leaky gut, you need to reach out. This is something I give all my patients, is a gut guide. So I have the PDF of this. So this is how to take care of your gut. When you find out what's causing the gut, if you do the food test, you find out what's causing the gut to react, causing gut dysbiosis. Then we have to re-inoculate the gut. So you need prebiotics, probiotics, but you also need polyphenols. Polyphenols are something that feed the good bacteria. So you have to feed it so it proliferates and expands. So you want your good bacteria to be 80%, bad bacteria to be 20%. So those are a couple things that I do. I always do the food test to try to protect the gut. Maybe some supplements. I use supplements like Ion. I had it here, but I took it away. But it's Ion. It's easy to get. It's made by Dr. Zach Bush, which look him up. He's amazing too, just like Dr. Stephanie Seneff. There's so many great doctors out there. Those are the ones you need to be listening to, not these Instagram posts with these simple solutions. Nothing is simple about this. But I have some books here too that I want you to see. And this is like kind of a new favorite book of mine. It's called Super Gut by William Davis. This is a great book. And any book that I read, I'm going to show you the back of it, what it's going to look like. It's going to be full of research. So these are all research from the book. And that's how most of my books are that I read. I won't read a book that's somebody's opinion, because that is not valuable to me. This is a well-researched book. I recommend it highly, Super Gut. The book I used to recommend is this, and this is excellent too. This is Missing Microbes. This was about the overuse of antibiotics, which is another problem. So if you take antibiotics or have taken them in the past, that kind of wiped out all your gut bacteria, good, bad, indifferent. Just makes you like a blank slate. So that will cause the immune system not to work. So everybody thought antibiotics were, not harmful. They're very harmful. So this is very good if you've ever taken many antibiotics in your life. As a child, I know I did. I used to suffer from strep throat all the time. So although I lived in a very natural household and we didn't take medication, when it came to strep throat, my mother took me to the doctor to get the penicillin, because you have to, right? So I took a lot of courses of penicillin when I was young, and that's where my problem started. At probably 5, 6 years old, because my gut was wiped out. So I had gut issues. So in my 20s, I had GERD, and I had probably starts of leaky gut in my 20s. So then it progressed into my 30s, right? So all this is stuff that starts. These are the signs and symptoms that we all ignore, but it's the start of my MS diagnosis that came when I was 39 years old. I also had tremendous knee problems, joint pain. I was told I needed a double knee replacement at 37. I didn't. It was autoimmunity. So it's all autoimmunity. That's the thing I'm trying to say here. It's all autoimmunity. I see it now. I see patients this week with no hormones at all producing as a young adult. That's autoimmunity attacking the endocrine system. It's not a named condition, no, but it's when I got diagnosed, there was 40 named autoimmune conditions. Now there's at least 180. So they just keep gathering the symptoms and then pasting an autoimmune condition to it. And then you're diagnosed with whatever it is. There's so many autoimmune conditions today. It's incredible. So I just want everyone to be aware of this, how important the gut is. And that is something I suffered with in my 20s. I didn't know. Just like many of you don't know. I didn't know either. But this is how I found out. So when I got diagnosed with MS, and I was like very debilitated and suffering in my 40s, the whole decade of my 40s, was because of, started with gut issues, or started with many courses of penicillin when I was a child. Another thing, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. This is another good book, Mind Gut Connection, because the mind, the brain is very connected to the gut. So look these things up, because you have to learn about your body. Like, you have to do it. You just have to take the time to do it. So many people suffering from depression or anxiety, or they can't shut the brain off at night to go to sleep. That's a gut issue, right? Or it's a neurotransmitter issue. And 19 of your neurotransmitters, which give your brain signals and commands and messages, are not being produced in the gut because the gut is destroyed. So it's all connected. Everything's connected. This is a great book. on fasting. Fasting is a great way, and that's an old world type of thinking. I used to fast way back in the 1990s because I was always following Herbert Shelton, and he fasted, and he believed in fasting. I feel like, thank goodness I did that, because I probably would have been worse than I was if I hadn't done it. So I'm happy that I did it. And this is my new favorite book. This is by Mindy Pelz, my friend and colleague. Fast Like a Girl. I love this book, and this is for men also, let me tell you, because the information is valid, men and women. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that. Just came out. Again, chock full of information, recipes, and tons of research. So I highly recommend this book, Mindy's book, Fast Like a Girl. The Fasting Guide by Jason Fung. Mind-Gut Connection, Missing Microbes. These are all fantastic books. Start learning. You have to learn how important this stuff is. Super gut. I couldn't possibly make enough videos to tell you how important the gut is. I couldn't do it. But like I said, this week was an enormous week of many things happening, between massive gallstone issues, tonsil stones, thyroids being removed because they are enlarged. They're enlarged because they're autoimmune. Like, I've been knowing that for years, but they're still in the medical world don't see that, and they're removing thyroids. Don't ever have a thyroid removed. I can't say enough about that. I've had people this week with 7 autoimmune conditions because the first one wasn't healed. So if you have 7 autoimmune conditions, if you have one autoimmune condition, you should find out what the root causes of that one condition is, so you don't develop another one. So I was diagnosed with MS. I found what the root cause of it was. I corrected it. It took me time. I'm not saying this is easy or quick, but I reversed it. I don't have any more autoimmune conditions. I'm now, it's 12 years later, no more autoimmune conditions developed because I got to the root cause. I corrected it. I fixed my gut. I healed my gut. The gut is so important. So when I was in a car accident this past year, or actually 15 months ago, the first fear I had was like, oh my gosh, I had a concussion. I said, it's going to hurt my gut. So I waited 3 months, did my blood, and sure enough, I was starting to have showing signs of gut disruption. So I had to get right on it and get right to it. So I had to correct that, but it was happened until my brain healed and the concussion healed. And then I had to heal my gut. So you have to know these things. So I'm going to be putting a lot of videos out here about this. I'm just looking, I had notes here for you. Just how autoimmune conditions start, the process, how the gut is so important. It goes to the liver. It's all connected. We're all connected. God made us amazing bodies. It's being so ignored today. It's like, give me a medication, give me another medication, give me another medication. The medicine is not fixing anything. Medication does not heal or fix anything. It's part of sick care, not health care. Health care is preventative and taking care of your body, doing the work it takes to take care of your body. So I hope you follow these videos. I'm going to be putting a lot of them out here. Please like and share them. Please subscribe to this channel. And each time I put a video on, you'll get a notification if you hit the little bell sign down on YouTube. All right. Have a great day. I hope that this helped.